The beef between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis has been simmering for a while, but things just exploded at the Davis vs. Roach press conference. Crawford pulled up unannounced, words were exchanged, and the tension hit a whole new level. As Tank prepares to take on Lamont Roach in May, fans are already speculating about what's next. Could a move up to face the undefeated knockout machine Terence Crawford be in the cards? After this heated exchange, that fight might be closer than ever. In November 2024, the highly anticipated bout between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach was officially confirmed, set to take place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York on March 1, 2025. Roach, boasting an impressive 25-1 record, poses a legitimate threat to Davis, aiming to dethrone him and claim the WBA lightweight title. But while this fight is already creating waves in the boxing world, it was an unexpected reaction from another high-profile fighter that sent shockwaves through the sport. Enter Terence Crawford, an undefeated, hard-hitting force in the boxing world. Despite not being in the same weight class as Davis, Crawford has been keeping a close eye on him, and their ongoing tension reached new heights during the press conference for Davis vs. Roach. However, this wasn't just a random outburst from Crawford. The animosity between the two has been simmering for quite some time, with their social media exchanges and verbal jabs creating a rivalry that transcends weight divisions. One can't help but wonder, if they're not even in the same division, why the hostility? When asked about a potential matchup with Terence Crawford, Davis dismissed the idea that Bud's skills would pose any danger to him. Instead, he claimed that Crawford's only advantage would be his size, completely disregarding the elite technical ability that has made Bud one of the most feared fighters of his generation.
Crawford.
The only reason why I say a challenge is because of his size.
Things escalated even further when Crawford, seemingly fed up with Davis's constant provocations on social media, fired back with a chilling warning. Bud didn't just talk about settling things inside the ring. He went a step further, saying that if he ever ran into Davis on the street, he would break his neck. Swearing on his kids, Crawford made it clear that there would be no back and forth if they ever crossed paths. It would be immediate action.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it.
And he wasn't done there. Crawford doubled down, stating that this wouldn't be a sanctioned boxing match, but a raw, unfiltered street fight with no rules. In such a scenario, he boldly claimed that Davis wouldn't stand a chance, going as far as saying that he would do a homicide on Tank.
Come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive?
Naturally, fans and analysts began questioning the root of this beef. Why the deep-seated hatred? When asked directly about the ongoing social media warfare, Crawford didn't mince words. He admitted that he simply doesn't like Davis at all.
Come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, when that happens? Or is it
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. I really don't like him. That's
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
Pressed for further explanation, Bud elaborated that he views Davis as arrogant and disrespectful. He accused Tank of hiding behind his celebrity status, constantly surrounding himself with bodyguards while engaging in trash talk. In Crawford's eyes, Davis wouldn't carry himself the same way if he didn't have that security around him.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he went.
When asked about a potential showdown between them, Terence Crawford made it clear that he would gladly welcome Gervonta Davis to the 147-pound division. However, he was quick to shut down the idea of meeting the Baltimore knockout artist at a catch weight, dismissing any notion of compromising on weight. Crawford stood firm on his stance. If Davis wants the fight, he needs to step up to 147.
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catch weight?
No, ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
Not even entertaining a catch weight.
At the time, when Crawford was pressed about meeting Davis somewhere in between, the conversation took another turn. Bud questioned Davis's legitimacy as a champion, bluntly stating that Devin Haney was the true champion in that weight class. It was a clear indication that Crawford doesn't consider Tank's accolades as highly as others might.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right,
I'll welcome him.
Crawford further doubled down on his stance, stating that he doesn't see Davis ever making a jump all the way to 154 pounds from 135. While he acknowledged that Davis might move up to 147 at some point, he firmly believes it would only be under one condition: if Tank could handpick his opponents. In Crawford's eyes, that means Davis would never take the ultimate risk of facing him in the ring.
But Tank would never even think about hesitating to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. If Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
In another appearance, Crawford expanded on the topic, emphasizing that if Gervonta Davis truly wants to cement his legacy as one of the greats, he needs to challenge himself by stepping into bigger weight classes. He made it crystal clear that he would have zero hesitation in facing Davis inside the ring if the latter ever decided to move up and test himself against elite welterweights. Crawford exuded confidence, almost daring Davis to take that leap, but also implying that he doesn't believe Tank has the ambition to truly challenge himself at higher weight classes.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him.
During the same discussion, Crawford touched on another comment from Davis that seemed to get under his skin. Apparently, Tank had suggested that Crawford has a glass chin, a claim that Bud clearly took personally. Instead of brushing it off, Crawford fired back, issuing a direct challenge for Davis to move up in weight and test that theory firsthand. He invited Tank to step into the ring with him and see for himself whether his chin is fragile or not. It was a bold response, one that made it clear Crawford isn't one to take verbal jabs lightly.
Come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him come and touch it.
Wow, man. Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
But that wasn't the first time Davis took a shot at Crawford's durability. In yet another interview, when Bud was asked about Davis's repeated claims that he wanted to test his chin, the undefeated welterweight champion remained unshaken. Cool, calm, and collected. Crawford dismissed the notion, stating that he doesn't believe Tank would actually make the move up to 147 pounds. To Bud, it was just talk. He reiterated that weight classes exist for a reason, and suggested that even Davis, as confident as he might be, wouldn't take such a massive risk by jumping up 2 divisions to face him in a real fight.
I'm not surprised about it.
A Tank would be something that, he said he'll touch your chin and...
Man, everybody say, what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 to face.
While Davis is undoubtedly one of the hardest hitters in the lower weight classes, Crawford appears to see him as someone who thrives in carefully selected matchups rather than taking on the biggest and most dangerous challenges. If Tank were to move up, he'd be entering a whole different realm, one where power alone may not be enough to keep him afloat. Crawford's response to all the speculation sends a strong message. If Gervonta Davis truly wants to prove himself against the best, he knows exactly where to find him. Gervonta Davis, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, has made it clear that he isn't sold on the hype surrounding Terence Crawford. While he acknowledges that Crawford is a skilled fighter, he firmly believes that Bud is overrated and doesn't belong in the conversation for pound greatness. To Tank, Crawford is good, but not that good.
How good is Terence Crawford?
Terence Crawford is good, but he's not what people make him seem. Not pound for pound. Lomachenko not pound for pound.
When pressed on where he would rank Crawford among boxing's elite, Davis didn't hesitate. He admitted that Bud would make his top 10 list, but emphasized that there's no way he sees him as the number 1 or even number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. For someone as confident as Tank, this wasn't just an opinion. It was a direct challenge to Crawford's legacy.
It's biased.
Where would you rank Terence Crawford? Is he top 10 fighter?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do, so we can't say he's not a top 10 fighter, but pound for pound, 1 or 2, no. Lomachenko not 1 or 2.
Fast forward to 2025, during the press conference for Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach, and tensions surrounding the Crawford-Davis debate reached a whole new level.
Calm down. Calm down, brother.
According to multiple rumors, things took a dramatic turn behind the scenes. Reports suggest that Terence Crawford confronted Davis backstage, leading to a heated altercation. The situation escalated quickly, forcing security to step in and separate the two before things got physical. If true, this only adds more fuel to the fire between these two undefeated stars. This confrontation raises the ultimate question. Is Gervonta Davis actually considering a move up in weight to challenge Terence Crawford if he gets past Roach? Will the talk finally turn into action? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, if this fight becomes a reality with two undefeated knockout artists going head-to-head, it would be nothing short of a blockbuster event. Fireworks would be inevitable, and boxing fans around the world would be in for an unforgettable showdown. And what about you, fight fans? How do you think a potential fight between Gervonta Davis and Terence Crawford would go? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.